The Scoop. The Young and the Restless previews, teasers, and spoilers for the week of February 19, 2024. As Nikki falls into a trap, Victor shares his plan to keep her safe. A sneak peek at some of the action that will take place on Y&R during the week of February 19, 2024. Be sure to tune into Y&R every weekday to see how everything plays out. After observing his wife's action, Victor starts to question Nikki's decisions. Nikki falls right into a trap. Victor shares the plan he created to keep Nikki safe. Victor has another assignment for Michael. Things escalate as Ashley makes a dangerous choice. Ashley later finds herself having a change of heart. Audra's self-protection lapses momentarily as she lets down her guard with Tucker. As a result, Audra finds herself on the receiving end of some unsolicited advice from Nate. Adam and Chelsea do their best to put their own differences aside so that they can help Connor. Adam goes out on a limb to help Sally. Nick tries to figure out exactly what his feelings are for Sally. Jill breezes back into the picture and completely shakes things up for Billy and Devin. As she looks forward to brighter days, Abby has a painful reminder about the past. Phyllis tries to make peace with Danny. Victoria worries that Claire might have had a setback. Down the road, 2024 preview. She might be behind bars, but Jordan looms large over Nikki and Claire. Victor does his best to help Nikki, but some unexpected support also helps Nikki in her time of need. The Abbotts circle the wagons as they fight to protect their family legacy from Tucker's revenge plot. Kyle is forced to make some difficult decisions, choices that might put him at odds with the very people he wants to shield from danger. Victoria and Cole try to figure out how to parent a clearly traumatized Claire. As they wrestle with how to reach Claire, Victoria and Cole question whether or not they should be a part of Claire's life. Nick and Adam are forced to work together, but can they put their differences aside, or will those differences cause even more problems for them? Adam also finds himself in Billy's orbit as he and Billy team up to help Chelsea in her time of need. On the romance front, Adam tries his best to win back Sally. Audra is forced to pick sides, but will she choose Kyle or Tucker? Devin and Nate decided to let bygones be bygones in 2024, but like many New Year's resolutions, that might be easier said than done. Despite Danny's warning, Daniel spends more and more time with Heather while Lily is away. Phyllis is determined to not let Christine win Danny's heart. The drama continues at Chancellor Winters, but this time, the drama involves some new faces. Young and Restless exclusive. Michelle Morgan gives Genoa City fair warning that Amanda's back, to put people in their place. Michelle Morgan is booked and busy these days. Not only is she set to return as Amanda Sinclair on The Young and the Restless, but she's got a new thriller, Sway, making the film festival rounds that fans should keep their eyes out for. While promoting her film, Morgan took the time out to tease her homecoming with Soaps.com. Of course, she couldn't spill all of the tea, but she certainly gave us a few juicy details to tide us over. I can't say a lot. We love the twist. We love the surprises. Morgan hints about Amanda's upcoming storyline. So, all I can really say is Amanda comes to town on behalf of somebody. And she's always there to shake things up and put people in their place. She even shares that Amanda will be causing problems, with a lot of familiar faces and interacting with a lot of familiar faces, which always has its own kind of drama and dynamic, considering the history. That begs the question. Is there unfinished business with Amanda, Devin, Bryton James, and Abby, Melissa Ordway? Well, Morgan was certainly guarded with her response. I'm sure they're going to be there, she says cryptically. They're going to definitely be there in some capacity. We are going to read between the lines on that one. Something tells us that a lot is going on with this trio. Being back on the show has opened her eyes to a possible full-time or long-term return in the future, but just not right now. I would be honored, and it would be my privilege to return, she says. I think when the time is right and when I feel like maybe I've even learned more in my life as an actor and as a person, and I want to kind of bring that back home to Y&R and into my characters. Morgan has been exploring both sides of the camera with her latest project, Sway, which she executive produced and starred in. The indie film follows a Black community leader, with everything going right for him, watching his life spiral out of control within hours after his brother goes missing. Morgan plays a duplicitous podcast host who blackmails him with knowledge of a murder that happened in his past.
The movie recently premiered at the Pan-African Film Festival in Los Angeles, and it's headed to the Toronto Black Film Festival on February 17 and the Halifax Black Film Festival later this month. Morgan hopes that Sway will find a distributor to allow the gripping film to be shared with a wider audience. No matter where you find Morgan these days, on the big or small screen, she's going to keep us on the edge of our seats.
Michelle Morgan's Y&R return date revealed. You don't have to wait very long to see Daytime Emmy winner Michelle Morgan's, Amanda Sinclair, latest return to The Young and the Restless, as it's happening next week. Look for Morgan to appear during the week of February 19th. In the first look photos, Michelle is seen flanked by Devin, Bryton James, and Billy, Jason Thompson. What precipitates her return this time around?
Y&R coming and goings. Beloved star returns. What's the latest comings and goings casting news from The Young and the Restless? Are any of your favorite performers from the past returning to the Genoa City fold this week or in the near future? Here are the latest comings and goings moves from the CBS soap. The week of February 19, 2024. Daytime Emmy winner Michelle Morgan returns for another run as Amanda Sinclair, the late Hilary Curtis's long-lost twin sister. She makes her first appearance on Monday, February 19 in scenes with Bryton James's Devin and Jason Thompson's Billy. Clearly, she has some legal matters to take care of at Chancellor Winters. Will she have any emotionally fraught scenes with her ex, Devin? Jess Walton pops back in as Jill Abbott. She'll interact with Jason Thompson's Billy and Bryton James's Devin on Wednesday, February 21. What do you think? Post a comment. Brian Gaskill, who first appeared on soaps in All My Children in the 90s, continues to get more airtime as Seth, Nikki's Melody Thomas Scott, former Awe sponsor. Look for the character to interact with Colleen Zank's Jordan on Monday, February 19. Will Jordan once again use Nikki's alcoholism to lure her into a trap?
That was Coco Nation playing Nadia, the young patient from the children's ward at the local hospital. She interacted in scenes with Haley Aaron's Claire Grace. Will Nadia appear in Claire's life again?
The Young and the Restless spoilers. Tuesday, February 20. Jordan's horrifying ambush, Nate warns Audra. The Young and the Restless Y&R spoilers for Tuesday, February 20. Reveal that Nikki Newman's Melody Thomas Scott Goodheart will lead to some danger since she'll allow Seth Brian Gaskill to visit her at the ranch. Of course, Nikki doesn't know. Isabel, aka Jordan, Colleen Zank, has been manipulating Seth, so she's setting herself up for a horrifying ambush. Since security will give Seth the green light on entering the mansion, Jordan will inevitably use the situation to her advantage. It won't be long until Nikki is forced into a showdown that she's not prepared for at all. Jordan warned that Nikki would never see her coming, and thanks to this sneaky Seth plan, it looks like that prediction will come true.
However, Nikki isn't the only one who'll be dealing with an ambush.
Tucker McCall, Trevor Street. John will also question why Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson, let herself in his suite without permission. It's obvious that Ashley is going off the rails, so there's the potential for disaster here. Could Ashley physically attack Tucker in an unhinged moment?
It's possible Ashley will do something like knock Tucker out and try to hold him hostage so he can't drive any other women over the edge. Then again, Ashley might do something to harm Tucker in Bold and Horror after realizing she's become the aggressive one. Meanwhile, Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, will run into Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, and offer some words of caution. It may be obvious to Nate that Audra's letting her guard down too much with Tucker. Audra may act like Nate is underestimating her again, but he'll be truly concerned about the trouble that could be looming for her, both personally and professionally. Nate may warn Audra that Tucker is a magnet for trouble, but it's doubtful she'll listen. Audra has a habit of always thinking she knows best.
At some point, Audra may realize Tucker's been gone too long and head back to his suite.
Will Tucker be missing following his confrontation with Ashley, or could he be injured on the floor instead?
Other Y&R spoilers point to Adam Newman, Mark Grossman going out on a limb for Sally Spectra's Courtney Hope Sake, but we should point out the show released official spoilers with the exact same wording last week. It could be an error on Y&R's part, or perhaps Adam will simply continue his efforts to secure the design division he wants for Sally at Newman Enterprises. Despite Victor Newman's Eric Braden refusal to work with Sally, Adam won't give up without a fight. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sally has some surprises ahead of her, so stick with us for updates on all the shocking news. The Young and the Restless recap. Monday, February 19th. Seth's accidental Nikki setup, Kyle's resentful confession. The Young and the Restless Y&R spoilers recap for Monday, February 19th, reveals that Ashley Abbott Eileen Davidson will do her best to convince Jack Abbott Peter Bergman that she's on steadier ground, but she'll still be dealing with plenty of mental anguish.
When Diane Jenkins Abbott, Susan Walters, and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, come home bickering about him overstepping again, Ashley won't give Diane a hard time like she normally would. Jack will urge Ashley to join in the dinner plans he already made with Kyle and Diane, but she'll opt to stay behind.
Once Ashley's alone, she'll hear her own voice echoing in her head about all her concerns and will yell for it to shut up. Ashley won't have much success with that strategy on Monday's Y&R episode, so she'll get a driver to take her somewhere and will look pensive in the backseat. At the GCAC, Tucker McCall, Trevor Street. John will spend some time in bed with Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, and will play a guessing game until she figures out he got plane tickets.
Tucker will ask how Audra would feel about a jaunt to Europe and will mention some of the business meetings they could take in Paris. The only real condition Tessa will have involves staying flexible for Aria Porter Copeland's, Maddie and Millie Ingle, schedule, so Abby will insist that's fine since she already took that into consideration.
Abby will be excited over Tessa officially becoming her new manager, so she'll announce the news to Diane, Kyle and Tucker at their table.
At home later, Jack will seem pensive as he looks around and realizes Ashley is gone. Meanwhile, Diane will push Kyle for honesty since she's his boss, but she's his mother first. It'll take some convincing, but Kyle will eventually confess that he's having a harder time with this co-CEO thing than he thought he would. Kyle will add that he's trying very hard not to resent Diane for it. At the ranch, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, will argue with Victor Newman, Eric Braden, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinel, about her desire to goad Jordan, Colleen Zink, into a trap.
Victor will act like Nikki needs to understand how dangerous Jordan is, and Victoria won't want her mother putting herself at risk either. Seth Brian Gaskill will eventually get Nikki on the phone, so he'll be glad she answered and will talk about his guilt over letting her down.
Seth will also admit he's not doing well and will hope that maybe Nikki can be there for him as a fellow traveler on this journey. Nikki will ultimately decide Seth can buy her a cup of coffee at Crimson Lights, but Victor and Victoria will talk her out of leaving the house.
That'll lead to Nikki calling Seth back and giving him the address for the ranch.
Isabel, aka disguised Jordan, will act like it's wonderful that Seth's reconnecting with Nikki. When Jordan finds out the meeting's happening at the ranch, she'll be even happier.
Back with Nikki, she'll talk to Victor about how she wants to set a trap for Jordan before Jordan can set one for them first.
The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jordan is on the verge of making some stunning moves, so stay tuned. Melody Thomas Scott has big hopes for Y&R's Nikki. I want her to go stark raving mad.
It's hard to believe fans of CBS long-running drama The Young and the Restless first met Melody Thomas Scott's Nikki Newman nearly 5 decades ago, but time flies when you're having fun.
On Tuesday, February 20th, Scott will celebrate 45 years as Nikki, and after literally thousands of episodes, the soap vet has a hard time picking just one favorite moment.
I love the Nicter weddings and their epic battles. I've loved all the catfights over the years with Nikki's rivals, Ashley Eileen Davidson, Sharon Case, Jill Jess Walton, and Diane Susan Walters, especially when we've been able to do some of the more physical scenes. All of these women are pros and at the top of their game. Below, Scott looks back on her epic daytime run. What stands out to you about getting hired as Nikki?
Melody Thomas Scott. My stepping into the role of Nikki was a result of an emergency recast, replacing Erica Hope, so the process was fast and furious.
When they offered me a 3-year contract, I had to make a decision between Y&R and a sitcom pilot that I had also been offered the same week. I very much wanted to take the pilot, as I wanted to do comedy. My agent wisely advised me to go with Y&R as it offered more stability than a pilot, and the rest is history. By the way, the pilot didn't get picked up. I've cherished every moment of my time on Y&R and relish any time Nikki's trials and tribulations allow me to sprinkle in some humor. What is your best memory of your early years on the show? When I started in 1979, the show was still just 30 minutes, so there was more time back then to go out to lunch and spend time with the other cast members.
I have such fond memories of my early days working with my on-screen sister, Roberta Layton, ex-Casey, as well as Wings Hausa, ex-Greg, and of course, Dougie Davidson. Paul, Nikki's world and mine drastically changed when Nikki and Victor, Eric Braeden, were paired together. Who knew that unlikely pairing would lead to 4 decades of storytelling? What is your favorite Nikki storyline of all time?
I'm lucky enough to say that my 2 favorite storylines are also moments in Nikki's life that I am currently playing, the love story of Victor and Nikki, as well as Nikki's drinking. Both have been such rich, complex stories. They have provided such wonderful experiences for me to play as an actor. Nikki's stripping is frequently mentioned by the fans. As I have shared before, I was not a fan of it at the time, but looking back, I certainly understand why it resonated with the audience. What is your favorite Nikki wedding? Nikki and Victor's first wedding, in 1984, is probably the most memorable to me. It was so lush and huge. A big fuss was made over Nikki's wedding dress. It weighed 30 pounds and was so delicate, I was not even allowed to sit in it. The wedding was a massive production for the show with very long hours, but it was definitely worth it, as the episode still holds up to this day.
Is there a storyline you've always wanted to play but haven't? I have always wanted Nikki to go stark raving mad and end up in a rubber room. I've also wanted Nikki to have an evil twin. I know, so soapy. Is there a co-star you've wanted to work more closely with but haven't? I've had the opportunity recently to work closely with Tracy Bregman, Lauren, which has been a real treat. Nikki and Lauren have not had many one-on-one scenes together until now. I've enjoyed the new dynamic we are seeing between these 2 characters.
What do you enjoy about working with Eric Braeden, Joshua Morrow, Nick, and Amelia Heinel, Victoria?
After working together for so long, we Newmans have a shorthand when working together.
The rehearsals and time spent together behind the scenes are so entertaining, we sometimes wish they would tape our rehearsals. We are a family unit on and off set and I love having such a special camaraderie with them. Of course, working with Eric has been the highlight for both myself and Nikki. I'm often asked to explain our chemistry, which I can't. I just know it's very special and unique and I'm so grateful to have him as my leading man for so many years.
What is your favorite memory with Peter Bergman, Jack?
I adore working with Peter. Many people forget that Nikki was married to Jack when the story about Nikki's drinking was first introduced. I love that our characters have gone full circle, allowing Peter and me to explore our characters' pasts. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear 45 years on Y&R? In theory, I know it's been 45 years, and because I have real-life benchmarks in life, getting married, the birth of my daughters and grandchildren, so the length of time tracks, but looking back, it's also an unbelievable whirlwind of storylines and behind-the-scenes moments with cast and crew. And who can forget all of those hairstyles over the years?